We're going to introduce you to Carolingian Minuscule. This was a style of calligraphy that was popular in the 8th to the mid-12th centuries AD during the reign of Charlemagne. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your guidelines here. Notice there's more space on the one side. You're going to put that to the left. Put your blank sheet over the top. And we'll paper clip that so that it holds together. And one of the things you're going to do when you take your pen, you're going to hold it so that the kind of the brass part is facing upward toward the ceiling. You dip it into the ink, and you might have to squiggle a little bit of excess ink out. That's kind of wet, so sometimes you have to squiggle out a little bit. When you're writing in the white spaces. So the black spaces are not to write in, the white spaces are to write in. And you're going to imagine a line that is about 45 degrees to the line of writing. Now this line obviously is not on the page, but you're going to imagine that line is there. And you notice that the point, or the nib, is square cut. It's got just a straight edge to it. You hold that nib so that it's at 45 degrees to your line of writing. And so we're going to make the letter A here. Pull down and around. Now that's really kind of wet, so probably should have wiggled out a little bit more ink. But notice that the whole time I'm keeping my pen at that 45 degrees to the line of writing. And the body of the letter is completely in the white space between the black line above and the black line below. And that's really all there is to it in terms of making the basic letter shapes. Now, you'll notice that some letters do go above the line of writing, right? Like the letter B or L. Some letters go below the line of writing, like a P or a Q. So what do we do with those? Well, let's talk about those tall letters, words like a B or an L. They're going to start in the black. So I'm going to pull a straight stick down, curve around, and notice that the bowl of the B, the body of the B, is still in the white. And then I'm going to make this little wedge shape. We'll see if we can zoom in on that. What I'm doing is, after I've made my straight stick down, curved it around, made the B, I put the right edge, the right corner of that nib against the left corner of the stick and just pull into it. And it kind of makes a little wedge shape up there at the top. And that's what we're looking for like a B or even an L. All right, we got that little wedge shape, or maybe an H. Okay, something like that. If it's a letter that goes below the line of writing, like a P, we stay in the white space, come down into the black, pull my little wedge in there, make my P, and then a little straight line across the bottom there. Just down, make my straight line, make my little wedge, and there's my P shape. Now the only other thing to pay attention to is regarding the S. If you've got an S that is the last letter of the word, you make it just as we would normally make an S. Just like that. But that's only if it is the last letter of the word. If it is the first or any other letter in the word except for the last, we make the long S. That starts up in the black, straight stick down, a little curl on the tail there. I pull that wedge shape and around. And I know it looks very much like an F. For a lot of English speakers, they see that as an F. But really, this is what we call the long S. And that is only for the first or any middle letter of the word. And if you need a capital letter, you just make a normal capital letter, okay? So let's take, for example, we'll see if we can write the phrase Garin Catholic here. So we'll start this up in the black since it's a capital. So here's our G. But then the U is within the white space only. Also has those little wedge shapes there. And you'll see this in your alphabet guide, how to make each letter shape. But I'm just wanting to show you how to actually work the pen. And notice what I said at the beginning, I keep holding this pen at 45 degrees to the line of writing. So that's what gives us that characteristic thick and thin marks to the letters. Here's one of these tall letters here, so an H. Here's another tall letter coming up with the L. And since we are all about Jesus, let's go ahead and write the name Jesus. Let's write the name Jesus, and we'll do it in Latin. So we'll do the capital I. So again, a tall letter here, just like we would do a normal I that you're used to. Then here's the E. Okay, but now here's an S that's in the middle of the word. So we're going to do the long S, pulling that around. And then there's an S on the end of his name. And so that's the short S. Okay? And so that's how we're making the letters of Carolingian minuscule.